To Plant Practitioner. I recently watched a video on things that I am no longer doing as a plant keeper. This was from another creator, and I thought it was a really fascinating topic. A lot of the things that I felt like I could relate to, and some things that I was like, okay, that's different for me. So I wanted to go ahead and do something similar and also let you know what I've replaced that I'm no longer doing and what I'm now doing currently. The first one, and this was similar to this creator, is that I'm no longer buying plants. I'm not just buying every single plant that I see that I was like, oh, I don't have that one, or I don't. So I'm really being very, I guess you could say, specific about what I want to purchase. And there's really nothing right now that I'm really looking, although a red crystallinum, I do sometimes think that I really want one. There's a lot of variegated things coming out, but I'm saying, hey, no, I need to take care of the plants that I have. And that goes along with saying, exactly what I'm trying to do that's different now is that instead of trying to buy just a bunch of new plants, I'm trying to learn more about the plants that I have. This other creator, they also kind of talked about how they feel like they were just buying plants to fill a void. And I can totally relate to that because I feel like sometimes we get in fixations, especially if you have things like ADHD or OCD or depression or anxiety. A lot of times what happens is we kind of get fixated on certain things to fill that void, and I'm not filling that void. I'm wanting to, just like this creator said too, I'm wanting to be outdoors a lot. I'm wanting to travel a lot more, and so that is something that I definitely I'm feeling more like I want to explore things outside versus just holding on to plants and making that my only hobby. I definitely love to travel. I love to be in nature. I love to hike. I love to do things like that. And so definitely when I'm just focusing on the plants that I have, it's really opening up room for me to be able to do other things. The second thing is I am no longer just treating plants across the board that, okay, this fertilizer is going to be the best thing because it's a great fertilizer, and then this soil is going to be a great soil for this type of plant. What I'm trying to do is actually, besides learning the family is what they like, I'm also trying to look at the individual plant, because even within the family of a plant, like let's say alocasias, there's differences as well. And in Hoyas, there's differences. So even though they may be very similar, like for instance, in Hoyas, they like smaller pots. They want to stay in smaller pots. You don't water them as often. I'm still trying to learn other differences between the individual plants that I actually have. So what I'm doing versus just treating it like, okay, this family likes this, I'm trying to specifically learn about that plant in that family, if there's something unique to them, and trying to learn more about that. Looking at my list here. And then the next thing is that I am trying to make sure that I am conditioning my water. Before I wasn't doing that as much. I do have a water conditioner, that's great. Now I am transitioning to, I have actually a Brita filter that I'm going to use a lot more. And then also, instead of just letting tap water sit out for a certain amount of time, we have a lot of chlorine in our water, and so I usually try to use purified water of some sort or rainwater, but I'm really now focusing on trying to do that water conditioner and also doing the Brita filter, I think, as well. So they're the main things. We always use the dehumidifier water, which is great. Trying to make sure that I'm really paying attention to that more. One of the things that I want to do in addition to that is I want to be more consistent with my watering schedule. The next thing that I'm wanting to do is change up my potting soil mix a bit. So I make my own aeroid mix. I'm wanting to learn specifically about every single type of amendment, what it does. There's some confusion about different things. I feel like I know quite a few things about each individual thing, like what pumice does, what perlite does, what peat moss is, what sphagnum moss, but I'm wanting to really specifically focus on the pH of each soil, type of soil, and really fit that to the plant. The next thing that I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to make sure that I am not just putting my supplies everywhere, that I organize them more, and I want to make sure that they have their place, that place is what it is, and I'm making sure that I organize it so I can be able to find it. That's definitely something I'm going to do. The next thing is about the leaves. So I want to really make sure, I haven't been focusing on this as much as I should have been focusing on this. A lot of times we only focus on the leaves when we see pests, but I'm wanting to focus on the leaf cleaning before there are any pests. So what I'm doing is I want to start making sure to clean off leaves on a regular basis. When you have 2,000 plants, though, that can become very difficult. And so I'm wanting to make sure that I am obviously not buying more plants at this time, but also if there's any plants that I'm not particularly feeling or I'm not particularly wanting, I may start trying to sell those plants or get rid of those plants or just donate them somewhere. So that's definitely something that I'm thinking about doing. The other thing and the final thing that I really want to focus on doing is I really want to start any plant that has any bald spots on the top, especially trailing plants. If it has any bald spots on the top of the pot, I'm wanting to start putting propagations in the top and making it more lush and more full. Or fuller in appearance. And so that's something that I haven't been doing, but I want to do that more. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll take my propagations and I'll put them in water, and then the water will, it will take off and I'll get roots and all of that, and then I start its own plant. But instead of doing that, what I'd like to do is I want to start actually putting in the bald spots on that plant. The other thing I think would be kind of a cool thing, and I have several pots like this, but doing more of the Frankenstein pot. I can show you guys how to do that if you give this video a thumbs up, and also make sure to comment below that if you want any specific types of Frankenstein pots. I really like doing any kind of pothos in a Frankenstein pot, the trailing philodendrons as well. I think that's really fun to see that, but pothos are a big one, so I like mixing that up. I do have about, I think, 3 or 4 pots like that, and they're really fun. They're neat to see, but I need to probably cut some of them back because they're going crazy on their trailing. So, well, thank you for watching this video, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I give lots of plant tips. I have over 2,000 plants that I'm taking care of at this point, and I like to learn about them, and I like to share what I know and what I'm learning, what I've learned from other people. And so I definitely would like you to surprise me with subscribing, and also join me along this journey with learning about plants.